And we're back at it again, episode 2, baby. Let's go.
What it do? Episode 2 this week, episode 3 next week. We're rolling.
We actually have a special guest, one of my closest friends. This is gonna be a heated one. Let's go. He won. He only.
Oh.
Brandon! Because he's in love. The man is in love.
Love.
Where when I entered my college classroom, I was like freaking out. I was just freaking out sitting down. Like I'd never felt such fear like in my life. I was like,
Owie, when I first met you, I was like, so how much weed did he smoke before we met up with him? Because I was like, this guy is just.
Telling me like the biggest like factor, especially like this year, since like it's been so hard on your psyche and also like my psyche, we were going into it. And you've been doing this like trauma like healing. What is it called again?
Oh yeah, so I just started doing this therapy. It's called EMDR therapy, and it stands for eye movement desensitization reprocessing, and it's like about healing trauma basically. And it's not like your typical therapy, because I've done therapy in the past where I'll speak to my therapist and it was a female, and she would talk me through these situations that I'm going through logically, and it was okay, but it never really like helped. It never really got me to like a better place. So what EMDR is like, it's going deep, and it's dealing with childhood trauma, old beliefs, experiences in the past, stuff that is affecting how you think right now in this moment that you had no clue could actually have an effect. So like, let's say,
how do they like dive deep? So is it one-on-one? How does it work?
Yeah,
exactly?
It's one-on-one. It's one-on-one. And first off, like, so trauma can like come from anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like trauma is very subjective. So like, let's say for me, let's say like you and I, Owie, were like the same age, and we had the same we were in the same room, and something happened to both of us at the same time. For me, that experience could have been traumatic, but for you, it could have been just like something that you don't even think twice about. So trauma, like say a kid, let's say for like a kid gets lost in the mall and can't find their parents and is like crying. Subjectively, that's like not crazy. Subjectively, it's like, okay, the kid lost his parents, like it's not a big deal. But for that child, that experience was traumatic. And so what animals do when they experience trauma is like they shake their body. It's like an actual thing. Like, let's say like an animal is falling prey to a predator, and that predator is coming up to them and they play dead. They literally have this out of body experience to disconnect from their body so that they don't experience that moment. Their body still has that trauma energy, but when they come back into their body, like they shake the trauma energy off. Like us humans, like we don't do that. That shit stays with us. Yeah. And then it ends up affecting us.
It's amazing how much you know, but I guess like what really inspired you to do this? Like, is it from a younger age? Have you experienced trauma yourself? Or?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Like from, like my dad, it can be extremely overbearing. Living with somebody like that over the years, like a narcissist can have like extreme effects on somebody. Having your heart broken, having like a teacher tell you to like shut the fuck up, or like it's just there's so many things like in our lives that like happen that can cause those things. But at the end of the day, it's just going back deep. It's going in deep and like bringing up those feelings and sitting with them and like shining this positivity, this like light of positivity on it, and not being afraid to like look at it, like however ugly it is.
And when you were,
what inspired me?
Oh, so what? No, so continue with what inspired you. My bad.
What inspired me was like I'd been wanting something for a while that would like dive deep, because I realized that like I can't do this surface shit with like therapy. And I was actually watching a video from like Owen Cook and Julian Blanc, and they were talking about like trauma healing.
Yeah.
And it was like, damn, that shit sounds crazy. Like that sounds like something exactly like I need, but I wasn't gonna go to like their program. And my sister is a family therapist, and she knew of this trauma healer or this therapist, and so she gave me his information, and I just called him, and then we set up, we worked out our schedules, and then I started like a month and a half ago, and I've just felt a change like inside tremendously, like how
So
I
like
think, how I feel in
into
general.
go into like an exercise that they do, because I still don't like really get like what's the difference between like therapy. So like let's say so you meet up with a
Okay.
therapist, and then like what are you doing that's
Yeah.
different than normal therapy?
So basically the first therapy session is like giving a rundown of how I think, stuff I want to work on. And it's a lot of like meditation and talking about things that you're going through now, and and I guess thinking back on memories that you can remember that made you feel the same way that you're doing like in these certain situations like in your life now. So for example, like um let's say like when I was in middle school, like I got my heart broken, and now I'm with somebody now that's like that I love a lot, but it's bringing up this feeling of like I'm not enough, or like all these insecurities like from the past, because it's the same feeling that I had back then. What I'll do is what we'll do is I'll bring up those memories, and I'll sit for a bit, and I'll bring up the feeling. Like I'll get the feeling in my body of how it was, like the pain, the uncomfortable feelings. And what we'll do is basically he'll take his finger and he'll move it back and forth, and moving your eyes back and forth like across the mid part of your face is supposed to kind of like desensitize the memories or the emotional charge from that
So
trauma.
interesting.
Yeah. And what he'll do is like he'll give me exercises for the week, and then I'll do those exercises. They're like meditation exercises, and it's basically to like reframe how you see yourself, reframe how you perceive the world, and that's pretty much the work. Like
Kind of, so
it's
is that, are those meditations kind of like a form of like visualization? So you're like visualizing a better self, or just a self that doesn't feel those past traumas?
for example, one meditation that I would do is I would sit and I would close my eyes and I would just breathe, and whatever I would feel, hear, or see, I would just label it. Like I would be like, here, if I'm hearing something that feels good or bad, I would just be like, here, good, or here, bad. And or I don't think bad was the word, but for example, what I'm doing now is I'm sitting down and I'm just remembering a memory from the past that felt good, that sounds from that memory, and pictures from that memory. So let's say like I was having like a really cool moment with my girlfriend, like I'll sit down and then I'll just remember that moment, or like whatever comes up from that moment, like a picture,
Yeah.
or like a sound from that moment, I'll say it out loud. I'll be like, here, good. And this is to focus on like the good part of this,
Yeah.
is to bring up like a more positive way of thinking, to focus on like all the good things, because I can have a tendency to like focus on the negative. And so that was one thing that we've been working on. And And yeah, so those are the exercises that I've been doing recently.
Brandon,
To build up.
I just wanted to say, when I first met you, I could tell you were really in touch with your emotions in general, just speaking to you. And I remember I told Oe when I first met you, I was like, so how much weed did he smoke before we met up with him? Because I was like, this guy is just so zen. I was like, this is ridiculous. And Oe was like, no, that's just who he is. And I was like, that's inspirational. Like when you can get to that state and you're constantly that calm, regardless of meeting new people or being in a new place. I was just, that's, yeah.
Dude.
And that's meditation.
100%. 100%. Like I put it all to meditation. Like, and the reason why I started meditating was because I realized after high school that I graduated, like between the summer of like high school and college, something happened where when I entered my college classroom, I was like freaking out. I was just freaking out sitting down. Like I'd never felt such fear like in my life. I was like, are people looking at me? Like I don't even want to raise my hand and speak. Like what are like I wonder what like how do I look like this and that. And where months prior I was doing presentations in high school, like not thinking twice about shit. It was pretty like it was just I don't know. I guess my adult mind must have like kicked in, you know. And from that point on, I was like, because I'm like a perfectionist, and I was like, I need to do something about this shit. So I started meditating like religiously every day, morning and night.
I love that.
And it took years. Like it took years for me to like finally get out of that funk. And what really helped me get out of that funk when I was 21. And I started to just go out and like meet people, and going out and like meeting people, like really, because I had always been social. Like I was really social in high school, but after high school, something happened. Like, I don't know what it was, but
Was it just
I think I
anxiety?
just grew up, I guess.
Just anxiety?
Yeah, it was just anxiety. Like it was anxiety, and yeah, going out and just meeting new people and like putting myself out there, like really, really helped. That was another thing that helped me too. It was the meditation, doing that, and then also like Kundalini yoga, which is like
we love a Kundalini yoga.
Yeah, dude. Doesn't it feel like you're on a high?
No, I feel incredible.
Yeah.
You told me about it, like Brandon. You told me about it, then I told Adam, and we did it for a week straight. And
I told my mom about it, and she's doing it too.
Dude, yeah, it feels like a drug.
It's a chain.
It feels like
seriously,
a drug.
It's like I have so much serotonin in my body when I do that.
100%, dude.
It's like someone just gave you a cup and said, "Here's your serotonin for the day. Enjoy." Like it's ridiculous.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But no, I wanted to make a point. Like you talked about your anxiety, like freshman year. I'd say when I came into college, I didn't know anyone, and I also needed almost like coping mechanisms just to become used to the new living situation I was in, because it was like I'm away from my parents I'm in a new climate that I've never been to, and it's like meditation and journaling were two things I looked to. And the meditation, I'd say I'm still trying to master it. And
oh yeah, no, that's a lifelong journey. Yeah.
I was gonna say, would you say it's something you ever master?
Master? No.
No.
Get good at? Maybe.
Because I'd say I'm a lot better, but
yeah. Because like personally, like there's not a moment where it's just like my mind is just blank. That rarely happens for me. It's just the thoughts come more slowly and they're more soft.
Interesting. Would you say that's the goal?
Yeah. I mean, the goal when I meditate and I try to have a goal, it actually doesn't end up going well. It's when I try to just let go, or even trying to it's such a paradox, you know, like, because you want to let go, but wanting to let go is attachment and like making you think more. But at the same time, like just letting go is what you want to do. But it's like at the end of the day,
I see what you're saying.
We all want to be more relaxed, but trying to make that happen is thinking, and it is not very relaxing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So almost not going into meditation with a goal, because otherwise it's going to result in trying to do this and trying to do that. And the second you start trying, it takes away from the meditation.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I guess if we had to pick one goal, it would just literally be to accept everything that comes to your mind
Yeah, because there's
and not attaching to it.
I completely agree, because you're just focused on, you're trying to be in that moment and just be in that moment, just like let the feelings and emotions come and go, just come through you.
Yeah, exactly. For sure, dude. And I don't know where I would be without it, you know? I really don't know. But nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about Kundalini yoga. Nobody talks about like
I
meditation.
feel, you know what
Nobody
I
talks
think
about
it is?
trauma
I
healing,
think
especially.
definitely.
But it's like,
I think it's because people will have anxiety, people will have trauma or whatever, and they'll use these like meditation or something, and it will help them so much. But then they'll get to a state where it's like they're so much better and they're acting socially, and they'll almost forget what got them there. And they'll say,
oh yeah,
okay,
dude, for sure.
okay, like I'm socializing now. Oh, I don't need this. Like this is fine. But I think it's so important for everyone to know that to get from one stage to the next, you have to be grateful for what got you there. And if you ever go back to a slump that you were in, you need to know how you got yourself up. And with journaling, I was talking with my roommate about this the other day. Matthew McConaughey, in a book or in a podcast, it's so random, but he was talking about how he'd journal when he was like in a bad state of mind, and he'd journal like whenever, regardless of whether it was in a bad state or good state. But the one thing he said he did is he would always look back to see how he got himself from the slump to like the good part. Like even now when he's like one of the most successful actors. And I just thought like that's the goal, I think, of whether it's meditation or journaling, like being able to reflect and see what got you to where you are.
100%. Yeah, it's like so. It's such an important thing, and it just goes to show that like the journey, no matter how successful you are, will never end. The amount of, I guess, awareness and consciousness that one has, like, always needs to be expanding, because it's like, if you're not growing, at the end of the day, you're kind of deteriorating.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's no, you don't stay stagnant. Like people think you stay stagnant when you learn a skill, when you learn meditation. When you're not doing it and you're not constantly, like meditation is a practice in itself. Playing basketball is a practice. Like going to school is, it's all a practice, and you have to stay consistent with it, because if you're not, as you said, you're going to deteriorate.
yeah, exactly. It's the same concept, same thing that is applied to life.
No, and I also think people will fall into these traps of getting a profession, and it might not be what they want, but they become content because they know what's happening every day. They have a weekly schedule, a weekly routine that they've become used to. And I think it's almost becoming not almost content with it, because you know what's going to happen. And when you put yourself out there, like you've been talking about with like going up to strangers or whatever new thing you're trying, you do grow and you adapt to the new thing. And it's life, like you said. It's figuring out who you are and what you want to do. But you can only do that through trial and error.
Exactly. And at this stage, it's like that was a phase that I went through, you know, like the socializing phase. And I still love socializing, but it's like different now. You know, it's way different now.
How
But
it's different?
because I'm not going out. I'm not like going out with intentions of like meeting somebody romantically.
Okay.
That's what I was doing. But like when I was single, of course. But now it's like I'm just what?
The good old days.
I'm saying the good old days.
What?
I remember, God, I'm saying the good old days. We used to go out every weekend. was crazy. It was crazy.
I mean, we had a lot of good times, that's for sure.
And
We
I've
met a
heard
lot
so
of
many of this. I've heard so many of the stories, and I remember going. I was with Oe once, and this is like when I was 18, so I was like maybe 17 even. I was like more shy, more reserved. Like I've always been an extrovert, but when it comes to social situations, like around a lot of people, like anyone can kind of crumble. And I
for sure.
remember being with you and Oe, and I think your brother was there as well. And your brother, like, we're kind of talking about like how to like the right philosophy when just wanting to like meet new people. And I remember your brother going up to this random girl and just started talking to her. I was like kind of just hitting on her, like whatever, like having fun. But the point was he was having fun. So
Yeah.
this girl, I think, ended up rejecting him. And I vividly remember this. He turns to you and he goes, "It's okay." And he was just so happy. I was like, what? You just got rejected. Like, why are you like so positive right now? And then I kind of saw the same thing with you. It was like you both were so positive regardless of the outcome. And I think that's such an important, like, I really like, I thank you for that because I've taken that away. Like, it seems like such a small moment to you, but the fact that you created your own happiness in that situation. And
Yeah.
regardless of the outcome, you were still going to be happy. And that applies to so many different things in life.
Dude, yeah. It applies to life.
It applies to life.
Yeah,
I
you can
found it so
take that.
funny though.
Exactly. It's always, that shit's always funny. But you can take that stuff and like and apply it to every aspect of your life, like outcome independence, being happy within your own self, like creating the fun. And I think I remember that night. Yeah, that was a fun
You
night.
do remember that night? That was
I think
such
so.
a fun
Yeah,
night.
yeah. It was a cool night. But yeah, I'm like, I'm in a different, I don't have that like urge anymore to
Because he's in love. The man is in love. He got struck.
Love.
He got struck
Man, I
by
wish.
Cupid.
yeah, I can say that. I can say that. Yeah, I'm in love.
Fuck yeah. And like
But this is
crazy?
like a different type of.
You know it's crazy. I
Go
would have
ahead.
never. I remember when you told me that today, like that you're in love. I started like laughing, and the reason why I was laughing was because I didn't imagine you. I couldn't imagine you saying that like in the next like 2 years, three. Like I couldn't imagine you just because of like the mindset we were in, like not even a year ago. It's insane, like the mindset we were in, and I'm happy for you because I can see you're way more clear and just into like what you're doing now, and it's dope.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I've changed so much this year. It's insane for the better, and it's like a different type of growth. You know, like going out and meeting people, like that's great, and you can grow a lot from it, and you can learn so much about yourself, who you like, what kind of person you're into. You know, gets you out of your head. You gain more confidence. Um, but there's also things from being in a relationship that you get that you can't get while you're single. There's lessons to be learned, and it's like a different type of anxiety, you know, like instead of like being nervous to meet somebody, it's like being nervous to like be vulnerable with somebody, or being nervous to show like who you really are to somebody, and like opening up fully. And so it's like it's a different level of growth and finding out who you are, because like intimate relationships really show you things about yourself that you weren't aware of, or brings up insecurities that you have had in the past that weren't as strong, because when you're in an intimate relationship, it's easy to it's easy to so like love is a really strong emotion, and what love can do is bring up all the bullshit that you have subconsciously, And so when you're in an intimate relationship, it's easy for that stuff to come up, because like a person can be like a mirror to you. If you're not aware, they can literally show you things that you weren't aware of, or maybe they can put the things that you were aware of more like not in the rear view mirror, but like right in your face.
Yeah.
So like that's what I've been learning like with this, and it's been like
it's long distance too, right? It's long distance. And how's that been?
It's been really hard, but at the same
and like
time,
connecting over the phone, like how's that been? Because I know I would find that so hard, like over FaceTime.
Video chat.
I'm saying like FaceTiming. I know it's like not the same. It's not the same because the physical is like not there.
Yeah, exactly. So like intellectually, the relationship has grown like tremendously because it's all been verbal.
Yeah.
And like our conversations always flow, so that part's been extremely easy, but just not being able to like be physical has been the really hard part. And I'm gonna move down there eventually, and I wanted to move down there before I met her, so I'm not moving down there for I'm not moving down there for a girl, even though I love her and like she's amazing. Like I wouldn't do something like that.
I know you love Colombia in general.
Yeah, I was there for like 10 days and I fell in love with Colombia, and I met her. So last year I went last year in July, no, end of June and then early July, and I was there for 10 days and I just like fell in love with the country. And I met her on the last day. I met her on the last day of our trip. And I actually went with my dad, and it was the last night, and it was actually her birthday that day. And we went out, and I was just like, we were walking around, and I was just like tired, and I sat down and I was like, I need to sit down. And my dad actually was like, hey, come on, let's just like walk around the block one more time. Let's just like walk around the block. And I was like, nah, like I'm tired. I think I just want to go back home. Like we have a flight tomorrow morning. I just want to rest. And he's like, no, dude, let's just walk around one more time. It's our last night here. Like I was like, okay. And so we ended up walking around, and I think I spoke with somebody. I think I was speaking with some people like before I met her, and then I saw her, and she was like a group of her friends, and I just like went straight up to her, and I was like, I said something along the lines of like, hi, I really like your outfit, but like only your outfit. I was like, hola, like me gusta tu ropa, pero solo tu ropa. And from my view, like after I said that, everyone was like dying. They all started laughing, and then I just like was talking with her, and like we spoke for I think was like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I don't remember exactly, but the conversation just like flowed, and it was just like I just felt it just felt good to like talk to her. I was like, she's beautiful, and like the conversation flowed, and like it felt good when I was talking to her. And I got her WhatsApp, and then we ended up talking for like 6 months, like over WhatsApp, before I came back down.
Yeah.
And I went back down in December.
Was it on and off? 6 months,
no,
a long time.
We literally texted like every day.
Wow.
But it was kind of like, it got to the point where like I would text her once one day, and then she would respond like the next day.
Okay, one of those.
I would take forever to respond. And when I went back down, like we ended up connecting, and then like it was great. It was like amazing. And then like the last day I was there, not the last day, like a couple of days before that, like we had a talk of like so what are we gonna do? And then like we ended up, like making it official. And then it was pretty soon, I'd say. It was pretty early to do that, but it ended up working. And then I went back down again at the end of January, and then that was the last time I saw her before last week.
Because I was gonna say, like, having that intellectual like talking with her over the phone like every day for that long of a time, like you will connect with someone so deeply on an emotional level. Obviously, you said minus the physical contact, which is a big part of it, but it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was as if you really did know her like so well. And the second you saw her, it's like almost you're ready kind of thing.
100%, dude. It was,
yeah.
Yeah, when I went back, it was honestly like those. I was there for only 5 days, but I was telling like like it was just a dream. Like
Dude,
being down
yes.
there with her, it was just a dream. Like it really felt like that. Like just there's so many like amazing moments, and like when you're in love, it's just a feeling of just like happiness, you know. But the happiness needs to come from within first. Like you can't rely on the love, but it does feel great. And where was I going with this? I was oh yeah, but what I was gonna say is even though like the intellectual connection and the emotional connection is there, like I don't think it can ever replace being with or living with somebody in the same, not living with, but like being in the same city with somebody and like seeing them every week in different situations, because that's when you actually truly get to know somebody.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
because you can't be with them face to face and like feel their energy in certain situations, or let's say you get into an argument, like how they react.
How did they react?
Yeah, like how they go about things. Like, so you don't really like we know each other really well. We knew each other really well, but like being together for this 5 days, like really actually helped us know each other more. And I'm not saying I know her completely. Like there's still a lot that we have to like get to know each other about. Cause like, you don't, in my opinion, you don't really know like a person like after for like at least like a year and a half or like 2 years of like being with them like in person. Cause that's when like true character like comes out. And so yeah, I'm just like we are together, but I'm not like projecting into the future of like, oh, we're gonna be together forever, this and that. Like there's still some things that like I wanna like see, you know, like I'm not like, yeah, that'd be amazing, and I've had thoughts of it lasting forever, but like I'm being realistic and saying like, yeah, like it could end, but I don't want it to, and like I don't see it ending because like the connection's amazing, and like she's just so relaxed that all the like arguments we've gotten into or whatever has been mainly because of me and like my bullshit. You know, and
at least
like,
you see it.
yeah, and so from that point of view, it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't see it ending for like a long time, but I never know, and I'm just enjoying it. That's it. I'm just enjoying it for what it is, and like what happens, what like the future's gonna come, and like that's that. I'm not projecting into the future.
Is your plan to move to Colombia before you? Because I know you want to do trading to be financially free. So is that your plan to only move there once you're profitable, like really profitable with trading?
Yeah, or once like my investments take the fuck off.
Hey, it will come, bro. It will come.
Yeah, eventually. But dude, yeah, no, I want to move down there for sure. Like I fell in love with it before and then she was like a plus. She was like an add-on to it.
So, like why do you like Colombia so much? Like because you've spoken to me about it. Obviously I know there's a beautiful woman there, but like other than that, because that's gonna keep you to like within a place for like a little time. But like what do you like about Colombia so much?
The culture down there is so relaxed and chill. There's not this sense of urgency to want to dominate. The weather in that city is amazing. It's springtime weather year round. It's cheap. I love speaking Spanish. And I love Latin cultures. So those have been like the main reasons as to why I've fell in love with Colombia, because it's just like the energy is so different. When you speak to somebody, they're friendly, like people in general just seem happier, you know.
You're happier with life.
And
It's
like your average American,
Hmm.
you know, like Americans can be really cold. North America, like they can be really cold. Yeah, there's just like a liveliness, you know, like it feels like there's more soul. There's more like soul down there.
I honestly
Did that
like
give
think
you
that's
energy? Sorry, Ellie, what were you gonna say?
very good. I honestly like think that's like a third world, like second world, like kind of country, like kind of thing, because it's the same thing in like South Africa to like an extent, because people like their main like a lot of the main worries aren't about like what kind of car you drive, like these kind of like superficial things, that those aren't the main worries of the people. So people actually get to know each other, and like friendships are more meaningful than what job you have and like these superficial things.
100%, dude. 100%. Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are people like that down there, but like for a majority of the time, it's like they care about who you are as a person. You know, like it doesn't matter like what you do for your occupation necessarily. It just matters if you're like a good person. And yeah, of course, it matters on like what kind of thing. Like everyone's personal, but in general, it matters of it. What truly matters is like who you are and like
And we
the vibes, I
forget
guess.
that, like you said, from in North America, like Los Angeles, it's so much more about the appearance and what you're wearing and how much money
sure.
you have and all of this. All yeah, that's amazing. That
Feel it.
did that. Would you say that kind of gave you almost hope? I guess, like just seeing how these people saw you for who you really were, opposed to just what kind of car you
Yeah.
drove.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It was a sense of relief and excitedness. And yeah, you could say hope. Yeah, that applies too, for sure.
Me and Owie want to travel next summer to. Oh, we want to go to Amsterdam and we want to go to Spain. And
Ibiza.
Fuck yeah.
Ibiza.
Shit, dude, Ibiza is so expensive.
We wanted to go this summer, but this man didn't
Dude.
make his money from his Facebook ads. Plus, Corona happened.
Dude, like a bottle of water at the club is like $20.
Oh my god.
Dude,
Have you
everything
been?
is so
Have you been?
expensive. It's crazy. No, my brother went. My brother went, yeah. But he told me it's amazing, yeah. But he told me it's a little like superficial kind of vibe. Because if you go to Ibiza, you usually have a lot of money. So like, but yeah, fuck it, y'all should go.
Man, we're supposed to.
And Sweden, maybe, yeah, probably.
Oh, Sweden, get me at Sweden. Oh, just take me right now. Oh man, I want to be there. I'm just gonna come out there. I should be living there right now. Honestly, I love, man.
Yeah,
I was looking at pictures. You know how I'd say the culture looks very incredible there. You know, yeah, it'd be a cool place. Go skiing maybe. Yeah, you know, maybe see some girls here and there, and you know, it'd be cool.
Skiing with who? Go skiing with who?
Hey, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when the time comes.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
No,
but honestly,
this has been good. I really enjoyed this, and you know what? I feel good because we did talk about culture for at least 2 minutes, so that kind of backs up the name of this whole thing.
Yeah, that's true. We mostly talked about like me.
Hey, that's how it's supposed to be. You're the guest. That's a good thing.
Okay. I mean, I guess
I'm just happy.
Like this could be a part of culture, you know. This
Dude,
is
Brandon,
you don't hear many people talk about stuff we talked about, you know.
No,
definitely. More people need to talk about their feelings like that, and I think I said it last time, but I'll say it again. I hope my goal with this is more people just see us sharing our emotions and feel comfortable doing so themselves, and hopefully we'll attract guests that way. Because I want to meet more people. Because you can have a friend on Instagram, but do you really know them? Not maybe you're close friends, but not really. And it'll be cool to
Or
see the way those people think.
Right. Or do you have friends that you can just like share stuff like this, like that are open to it, that are open to listening, or that are open to sharing what they're going through, or that genuinely care, you know?
Genuinely care.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. So like, yeah, what you guys are doing is you're showing people that it's okay to
this
ultimately be vulnerable.
this is eventually, well, my goal too is like for this to be part of the mainstream like thinking and consciousness, because then we'll like be a fucking better world at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Imagine everyone meditated and did Kundalini yoga. We'd just be on high on life.
Dude.
And I think
yeah.
I think also everyone has a different audience. Some people's audience is like watching Rick and Morty on TV. Someone else is watching like something random. But even if like 3 people watch this and like pick up something we're saying, and it can change, like it can alternate their thinking, and like in my opinion, that's like completely worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it'll give somebody else hope. It'll give someone else
hope.
A feeling of identification, like I'm not alone.
Right. Pick them up.
Exactly.
But
thanks, Brandon, for coming on, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. This was enjoyable. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
See you guys.